Hello, good afternoon. This is Paul Dominic Sion Talasco, and I'm here to talk about Introduction to the Course Republic Act 1425. This is the first lesson in the subject Life and Works of Rizal. No? I'm doing this for my class, and hopefully, kung meron pong masiyahan sa inyo na nanonood dito, di masaya kayo. Yun na yun. So anyway, um, okay, let's go. Start. So RA 1425, this is what we call as the Rizal Law. But before it became a law, of course, bill muna siya, no? So yun, lesson natin, guys. Pag yung law, pinag-uusapan pa lang sa House of Congress, no, sa Senate, no, ang tawag sa kana bill, no. It only becomes a law if it has been signed by the president. Before it is signed by the president, it must be first voted in the House of Senate, in the House of Congress, no. And there, no. But technically, hindi pa nagtatapos doon. It only becomes a law after it has been published 15 days. 15 days after it's been published in the official gazette, no. So, yun. So, trivia, no. Now, the Rizal Law, alam niyo po ba, no? Chismis po natin, no? Yung Rizal Bill itself, no? It has some controversial issues, much as Rizal himself was, no? Madaming pinagdaanan ang bill na yan bago na ipasa, no? Nahirapan po ang principal authors niyan, no? One of the principal author there is Claro M. Recto. Himself is as controversial as the bill he was proposing, and of course the other one is Jose P. Laurel, no? So let's talk first about Claro M. Recto, no? Claro M. Recto is, sabi nga nila, isa sa mga finest mind of his generation, and of course sabi nga nila he is too advanced, no, for the political times of his age, no. And yun nga, paano ba to? Legend would say na siya daw yung nagpalagay ng Pilipinas doon sa UN seal, no. Sabi nila sa UN, pag ilalagay pa daw ang Pilipinas, magiging dot lang daw siya doon sa UN seal. Pero sabi niya, sige, if Philippines would be only a dot, then let it be, no. So yeah, no, he is one of the best minds, best diplomats, ever, no, promise. And yun. And what could we see from his experience in the Rizal Bill is that he knows how to stand his ground, no, because when he was proposing the said bill, no, kinalaban siya ng isa sa mga staunchest institutions, no, sa mundo. Kinalaban niya ang simbahan, no, much as Rizal fought the priests back in the Spanish times, no. Claro M. Recto had clashes with the church in order to pass the Rizal Law, no. So a little background, no. Many groups are actually against the passage of RA 1425, no. The Catholic Church urged its adherents to write to their congressmen and senators showing their opposition to the bill, no. They said that Rizal Law, or particularly the compulsory reading of the Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, it would violate the freedom of conscience and religion, no. So many groups actually held many rallies against it, particularly the Catholic Action of the Philippines, the Congregation of the Mission, the Knights of the Columbus, the Catholic Teachers Guild, no. They organized to oppose the said bill, no. And they even went so far as to threaten, no, the government that Catholic schools, no, yun, Catholic schools would close down if Rizal Bill would be passed, no. So ganyan ka, no. And Claro M. Recto was threatened na that was even said na pinaratangan siyang komunista, pinaratangan siyang anti-Catholic dahil sa kanyang kagustuhan na maipasa ang Rizal Law. And the Catholic Church back then was telling na why not we edit na lang no limit ang here and el filibusterismo, tanggalin natin yung inaatake ng simbahan, no. And they would go on and say that yung ano, no, yung mga pangyayari noong panahon ni Rizal, that is not applicable today, no. And Claro M. Recto stood his ground, and he said that no, the law is the law, let's make it a law, so that people would know about the Rizal. And he is, no, this is what a Filipino should do. We as Filipinos, we should know about Rizal, no. And sinabi pa nga na this is not a fight against Recto, but a fight against Rizal, no. Adding that since Rizal is dead, the Catholic Church, as said by Claro M. Recto, is attempting to suppress his memory, no. So yun yung ano nila, no, yun yung contention nila. You should understand that Claro M. Recto is the same guy, no, that wants to have a distinction between the church and government, no. So separation of the church and state, no. He wants it to be clearer and more definitive through a suggestion na dapat ay magkaroon daw ng constitutional amendment, no. And he also urged against the teaching of religion in public schools, no. So parang these are the reasons why he was greatly opposed on that bill, no. But eventually the bill was passed, it became a law, no. Now a little trivia, no. So naipasa yung Rizal Law, and a little trivia on that, no. The debate during the enactment of the Rizal Law has been compared to the passing of another bill, no, the Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Act of 2012, no. You know this as the RH law, no, back in 2011, no. Sinabi nila na more than 50 years ago, the church was said to be that the Rizal Law violates the Catholic's right to conscience and religion. Interestingly, the same line of reasoning, this is the same line of reasoning that they are using to oppose the RH bill, no. So yun ang sinasabi ng mga groups na ng ganito, no. So wow, no. So parang na-recycle yung argument nila against the reproductive health bill and the Rizal Law. Parehas naman silang R, no. So yun. The reason why the Catholic Church is against the said law, yun nga, no. Sinasabi nila na that people would become anti-Catholic, that the church will become misinterpreted because of Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, no. So yun yung kaisipan ng Catholic Church, no. The bill was eventually passed, but with a clause, no, that would allow exceptions to students who think that reading the Noli and Filic would ruin their faith. In other words, one could apply to the Department of Education for exemption from reading Rizal's novels, though not from taking the Rizal subject, no. So the bill was enacted on June 12, 1956. But trivia, guys, alam niyo po ba na kahit mayroong exemption sa pagbasa ng Noli at El Fili, so far there's no recorded instances that there are some students who had applied for the exception from reading the said novels. And of course, there is no known procedure for such exceptions, no. So kahit may ganon clause, no. So yun. Ano pa ba? The Rizal Bill became the Republic Act number 1425, known as the Rizal Law. The full name of the law is an act to include in the curricula of all public and private schools, colleges, and universities courses on the life, works, and writings of Jose Rizal, particularly his novels Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, authorizing the printing and distribution thereof, and for other purposes. No? So yun. Now let's talk about Jose P. Laurel, no, the other cause signature, no, for the said article, no, or for the said law, no, for the Rizal law. And he would go on and say that Rizal was the father of the Filipino nationality, no, and he was the said architect of the Filipino nation, no. So this is why it is very very important for us to study about Jose Rizal, no. By reading the teachings of Jose Rizal, Jose P. Laurel would say that the Filipino youth would have courage, and we may analyze, no, where we are right now, no. So yun ang sinabi ni Jose P. Laurel, no. Jose P. Laurel, then senator, explained that since Jose Rizal was the founder of the country's nationalism and had significantly contributed to the current condition of the nation, it is only right that Filipinos, especially the youth, know about and learn to imbibe the great ideals for which the hero died, no? So yun. Now, trivia ulit tayo kay Jose P. Laurel, no? Of course, you know na siya yung naging presidente ng Pilipinas during the Japanese occupation. Pinili siya na manatili, no, during the war, no, noong alam na ng Commonwealth, no, alam na ng American forces na matatalo sila, they need to evacuate the government. Inutusan si Laurel na magstay sa na magstay at maki-cooperate sa mga Japanese, no. So during nung ang president si Quezon, no. So they first fled to Bataan and then to the United States to establish a government in exile. Quezon ordered Laurel amongst others to stay, no. The reason for this is that before the war, Laurel already has close relationship with the Japanese officials. May anak kasi si Jose P. Laurel na nag-aral sa Imperial Japanese Army Academy in Tokyo. And of course, Laurel received an honorary doctorate from the Tokyo University. They believe that this would place him in a good position to interact with the Japanese occupation forces, no. Sad to say, yung sacrifice ni Jose P. Laurel, kasi he is a proud man, no. Jose P. Laurel is a good man, no. And even if he clashes with the Americans before the war, he is a Filipino. When he was asked, "Are you pro-American or pro-Japanese?" he would always answer, "No, sir, I'm a pro-Filipino." No? So, after the war, sinabi siya na siya daw ay taksil sa bayan dahil sa pakiki-cooperate niya sa mga Japanese. No? Pero Jose P. Laurel, no, sinakripisyo niya yung pagrebelde sana. Parang he chooses to work with the Japanese so that I think, no, so that he could limit the abuses being done by the Japanese, so that he could work for the welfare of the people kahit under Japanese rule tayo, no. Nonetheless, after the war, Jose P. Laurel kumandidato siyang senator at nanalo siya, no. Yung pagkapanalo ni Jose P. Laurel as a senator, sinabi niya na that is one of his one of his evidence na hindi ako nagtaksil sa bayan, ako pa rin ay pinagkakatiwalaan ng aking mga taong bayan, no. Now, trivia sa isang during the Japanese occupation, people tried to assassinate Jose P. Laurel. And may pinisinta sa kanya ang mga Hapones na ito ba yung bumaril sa'yo, no? Parang isang boksingero pa yun, no. I think that's former boxer named Feliciano Lizardo, no. Nung sa hospital sinabi ni Laurel, ay, hindi ko kilala yan, no. It's an unclear memory, no. Later on, no, nagsusulat ng memoir si Laurel. Inadmit niya na one of his bodyguard, si Lizardo, siya talaga yung bumaril sa kanya, no. Pero hindi niya na sinabi sa mga Hapon. Siguro gusto niyang protektahan si Lizardo, maybe he understood or whatever, no. So yun, no. paano namatay si ano, no? Paano siya namatay si ano, si Jose P. Laurel, a heart attack, no, sa Santa Mesa, Manila, no. And balikan natin pala kanina si ano, si Claro M. Recto. May isa pang kwento doon eh. Alam niyo po ba kung paano siya namatay? Si Claro M. Recto. Balik tayo sa slide. Alam niyo po ba kung paano namatay si Claro M. Recto? Namatay siya sa heart attack. Heart attack sa Rome, Italy noon, no? During a cultural mission, habang papunta siya sa Spain, no? Bakit kakaiba yung pagkamatay niya? Number one, wala siya kasing ano eh, parang wala siya daw history ng heart disease, no? Tapos bigla siya namatay, supposedly of a heart attack. And sabi nila, no, meron daw siyang kamiting noon na dalawang mga puti, two Caucasians, no, wearing business suits before he died, no. Yun nga, ang sinasabi nila dati, no, Claro M. Recto was assassinated by the US Central Intelligence Agency, by CIA, you know. And actually the United States government, they have some documents that later showing that there was actually a plan to murder Recto with a vial of poison, no. So yun, no. So that's one of the mysteries of the Philippine history. Talaga bang na-assassinate si Claro M. Recto ng CIA? And second, why? Bakit siya na-assassinate, no? So that's one of the facts na kailangan natin pag-aralan, no, mga misteryo, no. So we owe it to these people, no, Jose P. Laurel and Claro M. Recto, why we are discussing the life of Rizal, no. So wag natin silang sisihin, wag natin silang pasalamatan natin sila. Because of them, there's an impetus to know about Rizal, to study about the lives and works of Jose Rizal, no. Now, what are the three aims, no? What are the three aims to accomplish? Rizal Law aims to accomplish the following goals, no? So these are the three goals in studying Rizal, no? Number one, to rededicate the lives of the youth to the ideals of freedom and nationalism for which our heroes lived and died, no? So the idea of freedom, no? Freedom, no? People has misgivings about freedom. Sabi nila, ba't mo ako pinapakilaman? Karapatan ko to, no? Malaya ako, no? But you know, iba kasi yung interpretation natin ng freedom, no? Naniniwala si Rizal that freedom is, you know, freedom from oppression, from undue oppression, no? Hindi sa walang makikialam sa buhay mo, but you know, you live your life within the limits set by the law, set by society. However, when such limits becomes oppressive, we must of course have the means to change the law. So yun yung parang idea ng freedom, no? For example, sa bahay, pag uutusan ka ng mami mo maghugas ka ng pinggan, ano ba naman to? Wala akong kalayaan dito sa bahay. Hindi naman oppressive siguro yung paghugas ng pinggan. That is your duty. No, doing your obligations is not, no, an assault to your freedom. It is merely, no, an exercise, no, of your responsibilities, no. So yun yung isa sa dapat na matutunan sana natin, no, yung konsepto ng freedom, no. Number two, to pay tribute to our national hero for devoting his life and works in shaping the Filipino character, no. Now may dito meron na naman tayong mapag-uusapan dito, the term national hero, no. Kasi wala tayong batas na nagsasabi na mayroon tayong national hero. Wala tayong batas, guys, no. Meron tayong batas through the National Heroes Committee na nagde-define ng iba't ibang mga qualities ng pagiging hero. And actually, back in November 1995, the Technical Committee of the National Heroes Commission, they actually chose 9 Filipino historical figures to be considered national heroes. These are Jose Rizal, Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Aguinaldo, Apolinario Mabini, Marcelo H. Del Pilar, si Sultan Dipatuan Kudarat, si Juan Luna, si Melchor Aquino, and si Gabriela Silang, no? Nonetheless, that was back in 1995. Ngayon, 2021 na, no action was taken. So the recommendation for a national hero, um, there's no law telling us that we have a national hero, no? Um, None, no? So you interpret it in any way, no? Number 3, to gain an inspiring source of patriotism through the study of Rizal's life, works, and writing, no? So patriotism, pagmamahal sa bayan, no? Yun din, isa din sa na may misinterpret yan, no? Kasi nga sabi nila, ang pagmamahal sa bayan ay hindi pagmamahal sa pangulo. Pag sabi mo bayan, bayan, hindi pagmamahal sa gobyerno, no? So that is one interpretation of that, no? And of course, hindi naman ibig sabihin na pagmahal mo ang bayan ay hindi ka nabibili ng hindi ka nabibili ng foreign products, no? So yun. But for me, I would like to interpret pagmamahal ng bayan, patriotism, as, no, Filipino first, no? Tangkilikin muna ang sariling produkto bago tayo pumunta sa ibang bago tayo pumunta sa ibang produkto, no? And of course, nabisita mo na ang Bali, Indonesia, alam mo na ang kanta ng K-pop, bakit ang sariling atin ayaw mo, no? So yun yung mga punto na kailangan nating ayusin, no? But later on, I hope that this subject, no, this Rizal subject would help us, no, imbibe these 3 aims, these 3 objectives set by the law, no. I'll do my best as your teacher to talk about Rizal, no. Sana ay matuwa kayo habang pinag-usap natin ang buhay ni Rizal. Kung hindi kayo matuwa, sana matawa kayo sa jokes ko or whatever, no? Basta sana matuto kayo, yun lang. Now, minsan kasi sa pag-aaral natin kay Rizal, parang ang hirap kasi parang sinalo niya na lahat ng magagandang biyaya ng Panginoon, no? Parang nasa kanya na ang lahat, no? So genius, no, ganun, no? Pero sana, no, wag natin siyang ilagay sa pedestal, no? Wag natin siyang sabihin na ay si Rizal kasi yan, no? Kasi pag nilalagay natin siya sa pedestal, it is almost impossible to contemplate on how we could be him, no? Not every one of us could be poets, no? Not every one of us could be good at words, could be good as in words, no, like his command of language, no. And yan, no, ang akin lang, no, and starting this subject, we must learn to consider him to be who he truly was, no. Talented, sympathetic, nationalistic, savvy, bold, courageous, may pagkababaero, speculator, inquirer, fierce, medyo impetuous, no. Ano pa ba? Actually, marami pa eh. Magaling sa wrestling. Ayun. Medyo may pagkabastos. Free thinker, you know. At the point when we understand that he resembles us, that his grids are not difficult to copy, we will understand his humanity. And that we will be really motivated by his gallantry to become Filipinos, no? Siguro, 2 words, si Rizal, tao lang, no? Tao lang. Umiyak siya, natuwa, nagalit, nadismaya, nagmahal, nabasted ilang beses, nag-cheat, nagpaasa, umasa, no? Pero higit doon sa mga kalidad ng 'yon, no? Tao siya, no? Hindi siya perpekto, marami siyang pagkakamali. Actually, yung isa sa pagkakamali niya, nagdurusa pa rin ng Pilipinas hanggang ngayon. But What's good about Rizal is that he never stopped believing in the capabilities of his fellow Filipinos. What's good about Rizal is that he defended what it means to love a country, to love your fellow man. No? He could had the option, no, to be in the good graces of the Spanish authorities, but he chose to become who he was. He chose to write a pen. No? This is a person who once considered to become a priest. No? But because of circumstances that happened in his town, circumstances with his family, no? Dahil sa may namatay na aso, naging Jose Rizal siya ngayon. No? Did he intended to die as a martyr? No, no. Hindi na inisip yun eh. Did he intended to become the figurehead for the Philippine Revolution? Again, no. No, I think wala sa pangarap niya yun, no. He intended to become of service to the Filipino. He intended, no, to influence the youth. He wanted equal opportunities for Filipinos, no. At a time when the term Filipino, it is still being contested, when there is still no clear path with, you know, with the freedom of the Filipinos, no. And I think that's what, you know, that's what is remarkable about the life of Rizal. He could have been many things. He had many opportunities to become this, to become that, but ultimately he chose to become a Filipino. He chose to fight for the Filipinos. He might not have done it in a direct way, like Bonifacio or Emilio Jacinto, or with Gabriela Silang, Sultan Kudarat, no? But I guess his way of thinking, the actions that he wanted to do, no, the plans that he had set in motion, no, if we Filipinos had done it, Philippines could have been in a much better state than now, no. Hindi kasi nasunod yung sa plano, yung mga yung mga gusto nang mangyari. But nonetheless, kaya nga natin pinapag-aralan yung buhay ni Rizal upang malaman ano ba yung plano ni Rizal para sa Pilipinas, ano ba yung plano ni Rizal para sa kabataang Pilipino, ano bang plano ni Rizal, no, para sa mga kapwa Pilipino niya, no. So, yun yung mga papag-aralan natin, no. Now, the importance of studying Rizal, no. What are the importance in studying Rizal, no? Number one, no, there's a dictum, no. He who controls the past controls the future, no. Kung sino ang naka-control sa history, siya ang pwedeng mag-dictate kung ano man ang itsura ng hinaharap, no. Our view of history forms the manner we perceive the present, and therefore influences the kind of solutions we provide for existing problems, no. The Jose Rizal course as a history subject is full of historical information from which one could base his decisions in life in various ways, no. The subject, for instance, teaches that being educated is a vital ingredient for a person or country to be really free and successful. Edukasyon ang susi, no, sa kaligtasan natin, no. Edukasyon ang the great equalizer na sinasabi nila. Pag ikaw ay edukado, no, mas marami kang oportunidad na makapagsilbi sa bayan, makapagsilbi sa kapwa Pilipino, no. And of course, times have changed since Rizal, pero yung dynamics ng change, the dynamics of society that existed during the time of Rizal, it is still existing now, no. Yung mga reasons ni na Bonifacio kung saan ay pinunit nila ang kanilang mga sedula, yun pa rin po ang rason kung bakit marami sa atin, maraming Pilipino ngayon ang walang tiwala sa gobyerno, no. So yun, no. Number 2, the subject teaches us the values of nationalism and patriotism. Nationalism involves the desire to attain freedom and political independence, especially by a country under foreign power, while patriotism denotes proud devotion and loyalty to one's nation, no? Yung buhay yung works at yung mga nasulat ni Rizal, especially his two novels, No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo, um, as they essentially radiate the traits of nationalism and patriotism, no? For one thing, no, this subject helps us understand better our country, no? We could understand the context from which Filipinos tried to gain independence from Spain, and right now the clamor or claymore, whatever, the clamor for independence still rings true to us, to all of us. Um, Studying about Rizal helps us understand better ourselves as Filipinos. No? The past history helps us understand who we are, where we come from, and where we could be. We comprehensively define ourselves not only in terms of where we are going, but also where we come from. Our heredity, past behaviors, old habits as a nations are all significant clues and determinants to our present situation. Interestingly, yung buhay ng isang napaka-importanting national historical figure like Jose Rizal, it contributes much to the shedding light on our collective experience and identity as Filipinos, no? Um, Yun ang kabutihan ng subject na to, no? Nakikita natin sa historical lenses kung paano ba nabuo ang pagiging Pilipino, no? And of course, studying about Rizal, it teaches us essential life lessons. No, we can learn much from the way Rizal faced various challenges in life. No, as a controversial figure in his time, he countered serious dilemmas and predicaments. No, predicaments and dilemmas that will surely put a normal and ordinary person in a different path. No, but Rizal, being the gifted man as he was, no, he did not shun away, from these difficulties. He excelled, no, he actually excelled, no, he made an exile a humanitarian mission, no? Supposedly he's going to the Dapitan, that is supposedly a punishment, no, but he used the time in Dapitan, no, to improve the lives of the people there, and to make, and to make the lives of Filipino better, no. Through the crucial decisions that he made in life, no, we can sense his priorities and convictions, which manifest how noble, selfless, and great Jose Rizal is. No? Yun na yung maganda kay Rizal, no? Sa dami ng napagdaanan niya in a very, very uncertain time, no? Parang mapapabilib ka na lang na, wow, nagawa ni Rizal yun, no? Napag-away niya ang dalawang Leonora. But again, that is a story, no, for another lesson, no. Now, the importance of studying Rizal, it helps in developing logical and critical thinking, no. Now, critical thinking, ano ba ito, no? Refers to the discerning, evaluative, and analytical thinking, no. Kung napansin niyo sa history, no, Jose Rizal is a philosophy major, no. He demonstrated his critical thinking skills in his argumentative essays, satires, novels, speeches, and written debates. No? Meron pang one time na nanalo siya ng isang contest, tapos nagkaroon siya ng isang speech, and that speech made everyone fear for his life. Why? Because it was so anti-inflammatory. It was joke lang yun, gamot yun. It was very parang controversial, no? It was very controversial for the rule of the Spaniards against for the rule of the Spaniards, no? The legend would have it that the mother of Rizal, si Doña Teodora, nagkasakit siya nung nalaman niya yung speech ni Rizal na yon, no? So, yun. Imagine, yung speech na yon nangyari sa ibang bansa, nalaman nila doon sa probinsya nila ng nanay na, no? In deciding what to do or what to believe or do, Rizal also proved his being a reasonably reflective thinker, no? Never succumbing to the irrational whims and baseless opinions of anyone. In fact, he indiscriminately evaluated and criticized even the doctrines of the dominant religion of his time. No? A course on Rizal's life, works, and writings, therefore, is also a lesson in critical thinking. No? Ito na sinasabi natin na na sana binigyan ka ng Panginoon ng kakayahan na mag-isip, gamitin mo yung kakayahan na yon para mag-isip, no? So, yun lang naman, 'di ba? Yun siguro yung pinaka solid na gift sa atin ni Lord, yung kakayahan natin na mag-isip, no? To discern what is right from wrong, to discern the truth from the falsehood, no? And si Rizal, yun ang talagang in-exemplify niya, no? Na wag lang tayong maniwala. Dapat pinag-iisipan natin ano yung pinapaniwalaan natin, no? We come to a conclusion based on arguments, based on evidences, no? So yun yung isa sa mga turo ni Rizal, no? Number 6, no? Rizal can serve as a worthwhile model and inspiration to every Filipino, no? If one is looking for someone to imitate, then Rizal is a very viable choice, no? Yung mga filosofiya ni Rizal, yung mga prinsipyo na sa buhay, convictions, yung mga thoughts, mga ideals niya, aspirations and dreams, these are good influence to anyone. Throughout his life, he valued nationalism and patriotism, respect for parents, love for siblings, no, lalo kay kuya niya, and loyalty to friends, and maintained a sense of chivalry. As a man of education, he highly regarded academic excellence, logical and critical thinking, philosophical and scientific inquiry, linguistic study, and cultural research. As a person, he manifested versatility and flexibility while sustaining a strong sense of moral uprightness. No? And last but not the least, bakit natin kailangan pag-aralan si Rizal? Maraming chismis dito sa subject na ito. No? This subject is a rich source of entertaining narratives. No? People love fictions. Mahilig ang mga Pilipino sa kwento. No? And are even willing to spend for books and movie tickets just to be entertained, no? But only a few perhaps know that Rizal's life is full of fascinating non-fictional accounts. San ka pa mga katotohanan ito, guys? Mga balita noon, chismis ngayon, no? For instance, no? Alam niyo po ba na si Rizal, no? May love triangle siya noon kay Antonio Luna, no? Imagine yung isang bayani kay Antonio Luna, hindi sila nag-usap ng ilang panahon dahil may love triangle sila. That is surprising kasi yung kapatid ng Antonio Luna, si Juan Luna, minsan maraming beses nagmo-model si Rizal noon kay Juan Luna, no? So yun. Ano pa ba? Yung common law wife ni Rizal, no? Sino na yun? Si Josephine Bracken, no? May napangasawa siya ulit na na isang tao sa Cebu, no? And later on, si Josephine Bracken, siya yung parang nag-tutor din siya kay Sergio Osmeña. Sergio Osmeña na naging presidente ng Pilipinas, no? Ano pa ba? Leonardo Rivera, no? Of course, Leonardo Rivera, well known siya sa Dagupan. Bakit? Kasi taga dito sila, no? Siya daw yung pinagbasehan ng Maria Clara ni Rizal, no? Siya yung true love daw ni Rizal. Hindi lang siya kasi napakasalan ni Rizal kasi hindi pumayag yung tatay ni Rizal na gambalahin pa si Leonor Rivera, no? Sabi ni tatay na noon, wag na, maayos sa buhay na, pagpupuntahan mo siya, guguluhin mo lang buhay na. So yun, no? Meron siyang anak, si Leonor Rivera, meron siyang anak na napangasawa niya yung sister ng former President of the United Nations General Assembly, Carlos P. Romulo, no? Yan. Ano pa ba? The Filipina Beauty Queen, si Gemma Cruz Araneta. Isa siyang descendant ng sister ni Jose Rizal, no? Si Maria. Ano ba mga ibang chismis dito? Kilala niyo po ba yung sportscaster na si Chino Trinidad, no? Isa siyang descendant ng first love ni Rizal, no? Si Segunda Katigbak, no? So, ano pa ba? The original manuscripts of Rizal's novel, Nole and El Fili, were once stolen for ransom, no? But a person named Alejandro Roses, niretrieve niyo yun without even paying a single centavo. No? So, yun. Ano ba bang isang chismis? Oo nga pala, yung isang chismis na kunti lang ang nakakaalam. Alam niyo po ba yung problema ng Pilipinas sa sa Sabah? Oo, yung Sabah, yung pinag-aawayan natin na na lugar, no? Yun ang isang dahilan kung bakit namatay si Rizal. Dede, promise. Yun ang isang dahilan kung bakit bad trip sa kanya yung mga yung mga praile noon. Wait lang. I keep using the term praile, mga priest noon. Pero specific naman kay Rizal kung sino yung ayaw niya na religious organization. These are the Dominicans, no? So pangalan ko lang, no. So yun. Wala lang, mga trivia, at siyempre marami pang iba, no? So dito nagtatapos yung first lesson natin. We almost spent 40 minutes with it, and I hope you learned something from this video. Next lesson, marami pa. Pag-usapan natin yung yung mundo sa buhay ni Rizal, no? Ano bang itsura ng mundong kinalakhan ni Rizal? Ano ba yung balibalita noon? Ano ba yung chismis na umuugong noon sa buhay ni Rizal, na? So, maraming salamat. And if you want to see my sources for this lesson, nandyan yan. Libro, Life and Works of Rizal by Jensen Manebog. The Revolt of the Masses, The Study of Bonifacio ng Katipunan by Agoncillo. And Jose Rizal, The Man, The Hero, by Pasique and Caballo, no? So that is all. Thank you very much.